Using music as an outlet to help with his addiction and childhood issues, Juice WRLD became one of the biggest rappers coming out of Chicago. In an early interview, Juice WRLD stated, "What do you expect? If I'm a young dude that really loves music and really looks up to these artists, I don't have a man giving me no type of guidance. My father wasn't in my life like that. So listening to this grown man rap about narcotics, I'm like, well, that sounds really appealing." When he was asked about doing and starting narcotics because of rappers and rap lyrics, as he told Complex that he tried narcotics as well for the first time in the 6th grade. Narcotic use has always been an issue for Juice WRLD. A week prior to Juice WRLD's passing, it was reported that Juice had been sneaking around doing narcotics in and around the studio. So much to the point that Juice WRLD had many conversations with family, friends, and management about getting clean. As Juice WRLD's friend Lord said in an interview, "We were all starting to be on his case a lot more about the narcotics that he was taking." He says he was hiding and categorizing how much that he would be doing with different people. He'd come into the studio and act like he has not done any narcotics all day. He would then do a certain amount in there before I tell him, "Hey bro, no, chill." Then he was going upstairs and hanging out with the guys and doing the same thing. Now these conversations that Juice WRLD had with loved ones actually worked, and Jarad that week agreed to getting treatment. As later on in the week, Lord mentioned during their tour of Australia that just ended a week prior to Juice WRLD's passing, that Lord and others finally confronted Juice WRLD all together in a room about his use. As he states, "We had just broken down a lot of barriers with him," Lord explains. "I and a couple of other people had come to him in tears, like, we're worried about you. We're scared we're going to lose you if you keep up these habits, and we have to do something." He then agreed, and we had treatment booked for later, starting on December 22nd, as that was the soonest they were available to get him in. It hurts. It really does hurt. As the Australia tour ended and their intervention was done, a few days later on December 8th in 2019, Juice WRLD alongside his girlfriend Ali and a few others were flying in a private jet, landing in Chicago. Before landing at Chicago's Midway International Airport, Juice WRLD was informed by one of his security while mid-flight that law enforcement were tracking his flight and were awaiting his arrival at the airport, as the pilot of the private jet gave law enforcement a tip that there was a smell of narcotics on the plane. On Juice WRLD's private jet, he had multiple illegal items, from having 70 pounds of narcotics stuffed into suitcases jammed in airtight, to even 2 firearms with high-capacity ammunition magazines, and even a bag full of narcotic pills. Being told that law enforcement is waiting for you to land while having all of those items is a recipe for disaster. Law enforcement believe that during the flight, when Juice WRLD and his team were told they are awaiting their arrival, Juice WRLD ingested more and more of the narcotic pills in an attempt to hide them from the authorities whence landing. The private jet was rented in Juice WRLD's name, meaning all of the illegal items on the flight would have then been put on him when law enforcement searches the plane. We're unsure of the exact amount of time that Juice WRLD would have been locked up in prison for, but according to many rap lawyers, they predict a maximum of 20 years in prison for using a private jet to transport 70 pounds of narcotics across the United States, as well as carrying 2 illegal firearms with high-capacity ammunition. Hearing that information would cause anyone to freak out and get nervous. Health specialists online claim that when you add all of the narcotics that Juice WRLD took, mixed in with all of the nerves of law enforcement awaiting his arrival, a moment like this would have put Juice WRLD's heart into overdrive while on the private jet. When Juice WRLD's private jet then landed, it was quickly surrounded by law enforcement agents. Roughly 6 squad cars as well as K9 units all surrounded the private jet and then escorted Juice WRLD and company off of the plane. Everyone that was brought onto the plane ended up getting escorted inside inside. Meanwhile, at this moment, this is where Juice WRLD started to have seizure-like symptoms before going into a full seizure. Juice WRLD's girlfriend Ali explains it as Juice WRLD on the floor, just not knowing what is going on. In the moment, she is screaming for these law enforcement agents to help, and that Juice WRLD is in critical care on the ground, and that law enforcement didn't even allegedly care. Law enforcement allegedly was more focused on just escorting everyone off of the plane and then checking the bags that was in the storage compartments under the plane. With Ali continuing to yell at law enforcement agents, they then finally started to run over. An ambulance was then quickly called. Paramedics came, put Juice WRLD on a stretcher, and then quickly transported him to emergency care, where Juice WRLD sadly passed. With everyone else still getting escorted inside, more than half of the people that was on the private jet didn't even know what just happened to Juice, as everyone else was already escorted inside of the airport. Now, 2 of the rapper's security guards that were on the private jet were arrested at the scene. They then later found out about what happened to Juice when they were in jail. The 2 security guards were arrested for the firearms while inside of the airport. Then later, Juice WRLD's photographer was also then arrested and booked and charged with a misdemeanor firearm violation. There's a theory that law enforcement believes that Juice was trying to get less of a charge for when he lands by consuming the narcotics rather than giving them more evidence to charge him with. But then there's also theories that Juice took more of the narcotic pills, that way he can deal and handle with the situation better for what was about to happen to him. With an investigation in place, rapper Boosie suggested that the pilot of the plane was ultimately responsible for the passing of Juice WRLD, referring to the pilot as a snitch. Jarad Higgins had actually been under suspicion by federal authorities following an incident that occurred in November 2019, before he even departed for Australia. This is why on one of his first rides back into the USA, law enforcement had his plane tracked the entire way and wanted to see what was inside of his jet. If you are a fan of Juice WRLD, it's important to know that Jarad Higgins was born on December 2nd, 1998 in Chicago. He was raised by a single mother that provided for him and his older brother. Juice WRLD started creating music in his freshman year of high school, releasing his first track titled Forever under the name Juice the Kid on SoundCloud in 2015. Juice WRLD is a second cousin of famous late rapper Young Dolph, who started recording early songs on his cell phone in his closet. After joining the internet collective Internet Money, Juice WRLD then released his debut full-length album titled 999 on June 15th, 2017, which is actually very easy to find online. The song Lucid Dreams was a breakthrough hit on the album. After the release of this, Juice WRLD was then co-signed by artists such as Waka Flame, G Herbo, and even Lil Bibby when he finally signed with Grade A Productions. Later, after signing with Grade A Productions, Juice WRLD would then release All Girls Are the Same. Cole Bennett of Lyrical Lemonade teamed up with Higgins to create the famous music video for the song in 2018. Following the video's release, Interscope Records then signed Juice WRLD for $3 million to take his rap career to the next level. On May 4th, with advice from his music label, Juice WRLD then remastered Lucid Dreams and officially released it as a single, once again teaming up with Cole Bennett for the official music video. Now, this song would land at number 2 on the Hot 100 list on Billboard before becoming the number 1 song in the entire world. Now, with all of the momentum, Jarad Higgins would then release his album Goodbye and Good Riddance on May 23rd in 2018. The rest is pretty much history from here. Everybody knows the story of Juice WRLD and his amazing and successful young career. It's very sad that it had to have ended early. For more Juice WRLD videos, leave a like on the video, and don't forget to check out the description with more of my Juice WRLD videos. Been District Trending, and I'm out. Peace.